So I've uploaded onto Google Classroom a Word document that shows all the code that I'm going to show you now. So all of that code, it's there for you if you need to look at it. What I want you to do during the break is to have a look at that code and try to recreate this website. But when you recreate it, use your own photos, of course, and use your own information in it rather than the stuff that I did. So you know this website. I'm just going to run through it again for you. And when I say that, like mine says assignment one, Mark Floden. You shouldn't have my name in it anywhere. It's yours. And so put your name, also your favorite games. It doesn't have to be games, favorite, just two lists. They should be something totally different. Likewise, your table should be something totally different. Any photos that you have in there should be photos that you've developed yourself. Now, we've got on this website, you can tell by these links here, we've got five different pages because there's 4 links plus you need to include the fact that the home page. And the one that I'm going to, all of the others we've looked at quite a bit, but this one here, I want to just have a quick look at this and we'll look at the code for it. And that's what I sort of want you to focus on. So in JavaScript, you can create buttons, which will then be used to launch a function which you have written the code for. So for example, I'm going to click on this button now, this get name, and this time it actually opens up a window into which I can put some information. I think I showed you this yesterday, but so yeah, we did look at the get name and the do math, but I added a new one here that I want to show you, which involves using some functions. So convert temperatures. What it's going to do is ask me for the temperature in Fahrenheit. So a typical temperature on a nice summer day in the United States, we use Fahrenheit, and it would be 80 degrees. If I run the function, what I find out is that 80 degrees translates to 26.66 degrees in Celsius. And that's pretty simple. Let's have a look at the code, though, because the code, I like this code because it offers you a little bit of an insight into using some functions. So that's here in this code here, JavaScript's, and all of this code I've given to you on Google Classroom. So it's there for you. Just have a look at it. This is what I want to focus on. Really, it's not going to take very much time. We're just going to have a quick look at this. I'm going to make it bigger so you can actually see what we got here. So the actual HTML is nothing very fancy, except until you get to this part here, the buttons. So those other 2 buttons, you've already seen them work. And you can see the functions here, just to remind you of what we did last time. The get name function, which has a prompt. The prompt opens up that screen, asks you, and then it actually is going to put some HTML into a place which you've nominated here. Likewise with the math, the difference with the math one is that you actually created some variables and did some very simple mathematics on them. Now, but the one I want to focus on at the moment is this one to convert the temperature. And so this one, again, it's kind of like the other ones. It's using a get element by ID. So it's going to put something into my HTML somewhere. It's going to put it there because there's my temp C. And it's going to write the words temperature Celsius. And then it's going to, what does this do? What does this do? It says, what I've got to do is add, and I just give a function name. And the function name in the parameter brackets, it has another function. You can do this. Now, what is happening is each of these functions, I've got 2 functions here, the toCelsius function and the getF function. What they do is they return a value. Do you remember return a value from Python? So that means all I have to do is say that function, pass a parameter to it, and it will return to me a value. So if I look at the toCelsius, what does it return? It returns a number, which is calculated by taking the F number, which we pass to it. How do we get the F number? Well, the F number is passed to it You see it's returned out of the getF function, which is just going to be open up a prompt screen and convert that to a float. So that's just going to get our number. That number is then passed into this function, passed in by the return. You see, we're actually using a function as a parameter to be passed to another function. That means that this function is returning a value, and it's the returned value which we treat as a parameter here. Likewise, here, this function returns a value, and that's the value that's going to be printed on the screen. So there's really much more to talk to you about this. That's the deal. The important thing is that just like in Python, and we did this in Python, you write a function and the function can return a value. Then when we call the function, and these are function calls, when we call the function, what we get is the returned value at that point where we called the function. Very short lesson today. What I'm going to ask you to do is then to